Hello, everybody. Welcome to Untamed Inc. Two voices, one mission, navigating life's digital twists and turns. I'm Jasmine, a B2B marketer, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host,
Alex, a copywriter in everything and anything. Yes, I can't even go on to define it, but yes, B2B, B2C, and lots of different niches.
Well, if you want to know exactly what we do, go back to episode 1. We talk all about it, almost 2 hours long. It's absolutely worth it, I promise. So basically, give you a rundown if this is your first episode. Alex and I started this episode because we wanted a space where we can basically talk about anything and everything that we want to talk about, whether it's work-related stuff, psychological like terms, mental health, and maybe sometime in the future we have a little coffee episode as well.
A coffee and a group episode pending.
Yeah, so stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button. So Alex, let's not dilly-dally any longer. What are we going to be talking about today?
But not even what are we going to talk about? It's the
shit.
Untamed moment.
Oh, no.
Yes. Alex 1, Jasmine 0. We'll have to blip that out. So, Jazz, before we go into today's topic, apart from that, what is your untamed moment this week?
There was an untamed moment live. Oh, no, I can't believe I lost that. Right. So, everyone's going to think that I'm a bit of a weirdo, but you know that I like me some metal music.
Yeah.
So, recently I discovered this German. I think you can call them like an electro metal band.
Oh wow!
They're called Electric Callboy. So, so funny. When I was a bit younger, I used to be able to growl, and but it was in an unhealthy way. So I would just it would like wreck my throat for like three days afterwards. This is how I met like a really good friend of mine in Malaysia, who's a musician as well. And what I started listening to Electric Callboy, and so that there's like clean vocals, and then there's one of the guys just does scream, and there's this, and so it's kind of like brought back me wanting to learn how to scream like properly, but it kind of freaks my partner out. So the only time that I can do it is when I'm alone in the elevator. I'll send you. I mean, if you're interested, I'll send you this video. There's like a girl who teaches how she like does it step by step. It's quite interesting, but essentially, it's very rare that I'm alone in the elevator, and I'm pretty sure that there is like there's a camera, obviously for safety reasons, and I'm pretty sure it's got sound.
No way.
This one time last week where I was coming back from the gym and I had the elevator to myself. So I was like, I live on the 22nd floor. I'm going to practice a little bit. So I did a bit in the elevator. And the next time I saw one of the security guards, he looked at me as if like I was possessed. And that's how I figured out that there might be microphones in the elevator as well.
Oh my. That's the most untamed moment I've heard to date from you. Like, that's so funny. Like, it's so, it's even funnier because it's like, I remember those days, like a hold my cabbage kind of like nostalgic, like really, but I've never growled myself. I don't know if I will. I'm quite scared to even know what's in me. But the thing is, in Dubai, I'm quite confident. This is very unique. It's like would you call it a subculture of this music? Like when you like back in the day, like listening to this, dressing like it was a very like a different way of life.
Yeah.
And no one, I think, a lot of people in the UAE, unless they grew up specifically, but the majority probably won't understand or know about this. So no doubt he looked at you like you were possessed. That's what's crazy. Like you must have think, what is this woman like?
She's alone in the elevator. And she's making like
I don't even know like
noises.
what this like I see, I'm gonna have to get you to send me a voice note to hear you growl as well, because I can't imagine you growling. So that's what's even more traumatizing. Like I don't know. Like oh wow. I don't even and how long are you growling for? You just like
I was just trying to like practice, yeah. So it's just like so the thing is like this is what a lot of people do wrong. They kind of do it from here. And it's the same for singing. You're not supposed to be singing from your throat. You're supposed to be singing from your chest. So I'm trying to like push from my chest and practice to do that, because otherwise it kind of defaults to my throat. And I thought the elevator was a safe space.
Whoa.
Everyone watching this is going to look at me in a different way now.
Such a juxtaposition, because elevator is associated with jazz music and very relaxing, melodious transitional music between floors, and all of a sudden tune into CCTV and you see this growl. So I don't know. I'm a bit taken aback there, Jazz.
Proper Untamed this time, yes.
Oh wow! Okay.
I'm making up for the last episode, because that one was really boring.
This is quite a ruthless one. You've got to keep it up now, though. You've got to keep growling, so you give this perception you possess to people and just see what happens and see.
No, but then they might like call some like, what do you call them? The I don't know, like the voodoo doctors. Like, just
like some exorcist or
but like the Middle Eastern version.
Yeah, I don't know what their version is, but that would be pretty funny. You're getting a knock on your door. Hello, we've come to do some sort of ritual to.
And just be like, no. It's just I'm just trying to be in metal.
Wow.
Oh, God.
You would have known electric callboy would cause so much disruption to a Dubai residence.
Shout out to them though, they make really good music.
I'm very intrigued. Even Electric Callboy, the name is so I don't know, I'm very
so random. Yeah. And they're from Germany as well.
Okay, I'll check them out.
But it's not like Rammstein music, it's a bit more like a bit more metal.
Okay.
I'll send you
I'll check them out later.
Anyway, now that everyone thinks that I'm really weird, like, what was your untamed moment?
Oh, mine's so lame now compared to yours. It's not even like worth mentioning. It's really not. I was thinking this week, what is my untamed? I have had several, but I cannot mention them on this podcast. It's not appropriate for the podcast to be mentioned. It's a bit too much, and I have offended some people lately, but it's not like that. So this week, it's very simple. I get ride sharing everywhere in Kathmandu, bikes, and there's two dominating ride sharing apps. One's called Patao, one's called InDrive, one's from Bangladesh, one's from India, let's put it that way. And I have this habit of like requesting at both at the same time, because I'm very impatient, and one is like more affordable. But one involves you accepting a bid from a driver to take their ride, and the other one just automatically allocates a rider in the area. And I remember like it was literally the day before yesterday, I came out to the house. I was supposed to go to work, and I came out and like there's two bikes next to my house, and I'm like, what? Like, which one is like InDrive? Because I went with InDrive consciously accepting. And they're like, we're both for Alex. And I'm like, what? So I requested two like competing people at the same time. Someone came all the way to me, and I was like, oh God. And I'm like, no, I cancelled you. And he's like, no, you didn't. It's still here. And he started arguing. I'm like, no, I cancelled. And he's like, please cancel. And I'm like, I cancelled. I just was lying to get myself out of the situation. And then I like quickly cancelled, and I got on the other ride. On the way to my workplace, I was getting texts in Nepali,
Oh my God.
saying like, you donkey woman, like this, cursing me. And I really wanted to reply, but I'm like, okay, no. So next time I'm just gonna be more mindful to requesting two ride sharing apps at the same time. Nothing major, but that was my untamed moment.
Oh my God, that guy was like untamed.
So like, well, it's not really like, okay, so the Nepali means like Sala Katie. So Katie is girl. Sala, like it's really hard to translate into English. It's like idiot, donkey, like
Yeah.
so it's I don't know how the literal translation is, but yeah, I could have went in, but I thought why not? Why entertain it, you know? But I'm just laughing. He went out all of his way to literally send me an SMS
Yeah.
to curse me.
Oh my God.
It's nothing. It's really pathetic what compared to your untamed moment this
No.
week.
Should have told them the one earlier.
No, I cannot. It's very, very bad. But it's very like I cannot. It's reveal something I cannot reveal. But yes, I have one, but I cannot. And it's I don't know. It's not a safe place to talk about this one.
No,
Anyways,
the internet is forever. Not safe.
So I'll move on to the next thing for today, which is our topic. Today we're going to be talking about chauffeur knowledge. And Jazz, do you want to explain what chauffeur knowledge is, or?
Well, how about because I need a bit of ego pumping. Why did you pick this?
Well, I recently came on this topic syndrome on holiday, and basically it's so apt because I know so many people that do it, including myself, and literally it's a type of knowledge that it's very comforting because so many people or individuals like yourself, well, me at least, definitely do it out there, and it puts a cover around something. I don't know, it covers so many answers and so many what's the word, behaviors. It's a perfect answer that addresses all of them to why. Like, I don't know, it's really hard to explain without explaining the topic.
How did you learn about this topic though?
Oh, through the book you read, The Art of Thinking Clearly. Actually, my partner read it, I read it, and then he was talking about it, and we were talking about individuals, and not going to say the names of those individuals in case they're listening in, but it provides a good answer to so many things.
Yeah, exactly. That would be so good to like. If only we could name names, but we are professional ladies, Alex.
Yeah, we're very professional, but just be warned, anyone that comes into my distance or radar, I might be judging you on your chauffeur knowledge. So, chauffeur knowledge. Go on, Jazz. Hit it off. What is chauffeur knowledge?
Right. So, first we have real knowledge, and then we have chauffeur knowledge. So, essentially, real knowledge is, say, for example, the both of us, we both studied psychology, and we have that real knowledge. It takes a lot of time and effort to gain real knowledge, and it's like it comes from the people who really know. Or, you know, if you've studied it, if you've gone through courses, you know, if you've actually dedicated time and energy into learning about a topic, that is real knowledge. Also known as Planck knowledge. I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's a German guy. And, so it's the real professionals. It's the PhDs. It's the people who have done the legwork. And then on the other side, we have chauffeur knowledge, which is knowledge that people have gained to be able to basically vomit it, regurgitate it. They, I like how you wrote this. Maybe they have they have a great voice or good hair, but the knowledge they espouse is not their own. I like how you put that there.
Could technically say I was being a chauffeur, pasting this into the notes, not even writing it and according to my own knowledge.
Yeah. So how you can tell, essentially, or let's talk about the origin. So basically, chauffeur knowledge is, if you read The Art of Thinking Clearly, it's a story that is credited in the book. The term chauffeur knowledge comes from a story by a physicist. I think he might be a quantum physicist, but let's just say physicist for now. Max Planck, and his chauffeur. During a tour, I think during a tour of like universities, he's talking to other fellow university like professors and stuff. The chauffeur memorized Planck's lecture and basically memorized it word for word. And there was a point during the tour, I think the story is that he was supposed to speak at a university in Munich, but he was ill. So the chauffeur said, you know what, they don't actually know how you look like. This is like, before social media and before like big media, big press. So no one really knows what you look like. Why don't you let me deliver your seminar instead? And so the guy basically recited the entire seminar to Planck, and then Planck was like, all right, let's just see how this goes. So in Munich, the chauffeur did the lecture, delivered it perfectly, but he did get a few questions, and this is where chauffeur knowledge comes into play. When he was asked very specific questions about the seminar, about the terms that we used, about physics in general, this chauffeur is not a physicist. Obviously, he doesn't know the answers to those questions. But rather than saying I don't know, when he got cornered, he responded to the professor that was asking the question and basically said, I'm surprised that in an advanced city like Munich, I get such an easy question. I'm going to ask my chauffeur to reply, but not the audience not knowing that the chauffeur is actually the physicist Max Planck. This basically highlights the difference between someone who can perform well in a scripted scenario, i.e. chauffeur knowledge, and someone who possesses true knowledge, real knowledge, Planck knowledge, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, so that is the origins of it, and that's what it means. Hopefully I chauffeured it correctly.
This actually reminds me of a modern day version, kind of similar. Rami Malek.
Oh yeah.
He something happened where he pretended, his twin, I think, pretended to be him in a university lecture, and the similar thing happened where he had to do some sort of drama acting, and they actually exchanged for the exam. It's quite funny.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting, I think, like that while that origin was there, like it's definitely delves deeper into like present day life without even people trying. And
oh yeah, we see it everywhere, don't we?
Oh, everywhere. I've been, well, I still sometimes go about this. It's a really bad habit. I think also in marketing, it's really done. It's notorious. So if we're to look at chauffeur knowledge, it can be broken down into different characteristics. Before I go into sharing how I can be a chauffeur and how people we know, let me just break it down to add on to what Jasmine said about this origin story. So people who have chauffeur knowledge or show it tend to have a superficial understanding. So they might explain concepts but lack the actual breadth and depth to answer them, which is the case in the lecture. The chauffeur couldn't really answer the questions fully. And it's also they portray it as a showman. So they'll overhype it. They'll like be super confident and really present it well. And you see it in politics, businesses, media people, and they really, really want to add some sort of drama or like sass to how they're saying it to make it look like they're really confident and know what they're saying. And also again, it's the ability to answer questions or think. They'll try and give you like a generic explanation or vague explanation and just try to shut you up with that explanation.
Or be like, I can't believe that you've asked that question. It's such a stupid question.
And they they don't really acknowledge their ignorance. But if you had real knowledge, they might say like, I don't know, but I'll find out. Or they'll say, I'm not sure. Or they might just like try and ask the question again to understand what you're trying to ask them. But chauffeurs will not acknowledge it. They will not they won't want to look like they don't know or they're stupid or they lack the knowledge.
That ego comes into play, doesn't it?
So, given those characteristics, what's your experience with chauffeur knowledge, Jazz? I genuinely can't think of a time that I did it myself. I mean, I'm pretty sure I have, like, that there are loads of things that I'm not really like qualified to talk about, but I talk about anyway. Like, I don't know, like social media. I'm in no way, shape, or form qualified to talk about it. And as I said in the last episode, I absolutely despise social media. But because it's an aspect of my job, I do try to learn about it, and I try to like understand it as much as possible. In terms of other people experience, that has come through quite a lot. That even in recent years, people who have no knowledge in marketing, any aspect of marketing, going into high position roles in. Sorry. I know where this is going.
Yeah, and people with absolutely no knowledge, but end up in like high roles in marketing related industries, who somehow manage to like just perform. They spout their chauffeur knowledge, but they don't actually know anything about marketing. It's frustrating because you would hope that if they know that they don't know anything, and you know that they don't know anything, and there is an agreement that they definitely don't know anything, that they would go to the people in the team or the company or whatever and like actually find out about it. But again, like I just said like a couple of minutes ago, like there's an ego that comes with chauffeur knowledge, and they won't ask for help because they have this showman sort of like thing going on. And that honestly, that's come through so many different ways. It's like even when I was working in the video games industry, there were people who were like really don't know anything outside of Call of Duty, and you're just like, do you know how that industry is a lot bigger than just Call of Duty or Counter-Strike? Like, there's like stories, there's loads of other different games and loads of other different like genres of video games, but they're like they flip it and they judge you for not liking the games that they play, sort of thing, and like not knowing what, I don't know, Call of Duty is about. I don't play Call of Duty. I know what it's about, but I don't like it. I'm terrible at first-person shooters. But yeah, it's everywhere. It's in video games. It's in photography. Oh my god, the number of stories that I have relating to photography and chauffeur knowledge, so frustrating. And even in marketing as well. And I see it everywhere on LinkedIn. Ugh.
Oh yes, LinkedIn for sure. Especially, let's say, professional X who promotes their multi-million-pound dollar business or generated like hundreds of thousands in this quarter and manipulates statistics, talks about things with a big video edited and showcasing themselves to the world like they're this great salesperson, when reality is it's been given by someone else and the statistics aren't true and they've just been told to do this and it's not an actual representation of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's AI.
Oh, yeah. If you watched episode 1, you know how the both of us absolutely hate AI. So what about your experience, Alex, with chauffeur knowledge?
There's so many avenues. I've like, sometimes I don't have a list, but sometimes I have a list, but I don't know where it comes from. So chauffeur knowledge, not chauffeur knowledge.
Okay.
Sorry, struggling with my tongue. Chauffeur knowledge. I find a lot of people do it. I'm trying to find it in a safe space, how to explain without naming and without saying things. So in the past, have had some friends that I would stop sharing my achievements or like things I've discovered with, like whether it's in a book, whether it's in a article, whether it's on a podcast or anything. And when I was studying, I stopped sharing because when I get excited, I like to share with people and open up like a meaningful conversation that doesn't have small talk in, which FYI, anyone listening, I hate small talk. So I will actively open up because I like talking about everything, but something with substance. And then say individuals I would recall later, I'd be at a party or like an outing or drinking, wherever, in a group setting. And I'd hear that person like share what I've told them, wanting to gain credit, to like gain like a cool factor, like to make them look cool and like knowledgeable in front of everyone by bringing up that, but not being able to follow up on that. And it would really irk me because that is just regurgitating what I've said.
Yeah.
If your own, like, what's the word? A scheme to make yourself look esteemed in front of someone, but you have no supporting point to like actually talk about that topic itself. So at some point I would stop sharing certain information with certain individuals because I'm like, it's not what information should be used to be shared.
Yeah. Oh, that just reminds me of someone. I'm not going to say who, but actually quite a few people. I feel like, and this is going back to the previous episode about how I was basically like saying social media bad. I don't like social media. But basically, this is one of the things that social media does to people. It gives them the chauffeur knowledge. And I don't know if this is as frustrating to you as it is to me, but there's been like a sudden onslaught of people being neurodivergent because they self-diagnose from this chauffeur knowledge, from this secondhand knowledge, and they're like, oh no, I've got this problem, oh no, I've got that problem, oh no, like, oh, I'm like, oh, I forget what time it is all the time, or like if you're ADHD and it's like, oh, I'm always procrastinating. And it's just like, it's actually, the shape of your brain that defines this. And it drives me up the wall. And then it's just like all these people being like, I watched 5 Instagram reels that say that if you can bend your thumb backwards, you're autistic or something. And it's just like, it's hyperflexion. Oh God, it drives me up the wall. And that's like, the thing is, like, we both studied psychology. So if it came from us and the stuff that we've read, I read so much in terms of research and all that stuff. And like, I still love reading research papers now. I'm a complete nerd. And when someone like that comes to me with this chauffeur knowledge, it just, and they've not done anything related to psychology, anything related to psychiatry, anything related to mental health in terms of like education, putting in the time and the work. Oh yeah, it drives me up the wall. You can see I'm getting so riled up. Much more so than the marketing thing.
I can see what you mean by that, though. A lot of people are coming out with. I also have thought, especially on LinkedIn, with neurodivergence, with a lot of different conditions, suddenly, like, there's been this big rise of these people, and they're using it, and I don't know if they're marketing themselves in it, like they've diagnosed themselves, and it's so wrong. Like, I can tell, because you say, for example, you can elaborate on your neurodivergence and you can give scenarios and things and have a lot to add to it, but they just use it as a tool.
Yeah.
It's just like,
as a crutch.
It's very sickening, like a sympathy vote to get them engagement. And it's so wrong and so twisted, but they use it. And I think so many cases nowadays, I don't want to go into a topic like this, but it's very heavy because even in the workplace, there's so many things. Like, I'm not discrediting, some people will have it, but at the same time, they will use it to manipulate their employees so badly. Like, people do need, it's such a touchy topic, but I know people will play on this in different ways to gain advantage out of it.
Not everyone. But yes. Some people really do this badly. But anyway, topic for another day.
But I'll add to this, on a side note, apart from this, I'll say 2 incidences of chauffeur knowledge. So one, I'd also to add on is people who are businessmen or businesswomen tend to exhibit chauffeur knowledge a lot. And what I've noticed is if there's someone who's helped them with their business, or like, say, a more affluent or esteemed established businessman or woman, they might regurgitate what they share to make them look credible in front of like friends and family members and customers. And I'm like trying to say something very safely here without divulging who this person is, and I don't know how to say in a hypothetical situation, because if I say what it is, people might already know because of previous episodes. So how do I explain? So basically, there was a food, okay? And I think I've given it away already. So there was a food, and we're talking about food items. This was many years ago. And this individual stated, oh, I'm going to give it away.
I think it's vague enough because you're not saying where this has happened.
But when I state what it is, then it'll know. Then people will know. So this individual stated a food was vegan. No, it wasn't vegan. Vegan. And I know for a fine fact it's vegan. It's from the ground. It's grains. There's no milk, eggs, dairy things added to it. And I was like really annoyed because I'm like, it is vegan, but I can't. They blindly said it wasn't vegan. Like, and like the way they say it is you can't even argue with that
Yeah.
statement. And if you argue, it's going to make them like, it's going to cause some sort of tension there. And you want to like say, no, 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 but they'll look at you like, how dare you override me in my business and this and this. And yeah, basically. And when you're sat knowing,
Yeah.
but you're not in a position to question that person because the relationship is not there to question. And it's so annoying.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah.
Anyways, I'm not going to go away from that, but I've been the chauffeur on the other hand, and I'm actually can be a chauffeur. That's the worst part of me. So I'm a bit of I like to sell, obviously, and I like to speak. Small incidences coming up I'm thinking about. Oh, this is really bad. Okay, so there's 2 incidences.
Okay, one that doesn't affect your current job standing.
Neither of them do,
Good.
right?
We can
Neither of
carry
them
on.
do. But I can manipulate situations so badly. And okay. First of all, many years ago, I was traveling around Europe. I did a lot of countries in the summer, and I was going to go to Turkey because it's not in the EU and it's like a good bridge country before your Schengen renews. And I'd looked on Airbnb. I was going to have an apartment in Kadikoy. I'd hold in the research, but it didn't happen. But my partner at the time was just starting to date him, was thinking about going with family. And I'm like, after a month, I'm like, yeah, you should go to Turkey. That's great. Like, there's Kadıköy here, then there's the Bosphorus here, then you can go to Cappadocia. And I started making it out like I'd lived in Turkey and knew Turkey like by heart, and I'd never been. And I'd started going on and directing him and engaging him so confidently. And then later goes like, you haven't been to Turkey, have you? Like, and he starts asking, I'm like, and I started like lying, like, no, I've been to Turkey, like this, because I don't know. I think I was on such a high from traveling. Like, I actually just lied about living in Turkey and lied it like blankly. Like, and I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it was to look cool. I don't know if it was but yeah, I developed this bad complex at the time. But the second one is really worse than this.
Oh no.
And I think it's gonna really look bad, but I'll say. So in Toastmasters and public speaking, we do a lot of impromptu speaking called table topics, where you can speak on the spot on a topic for 2 minutes in front of a crowd. And I was in Kathmandu many years ago in a bank. This is really bad. So I'm quite competitive. I wanted to win the table topic. And it was like, what was your most scariest moment in your life?
Oh no. I think I know where this is going.
I put a mixture of topics together from different experiences of people and mine into one and made it this hypothetical story of experience and knowledge. So back in the day, I worked in the NHS as a medical receptionist. In the area, there was a lot of drug addicts who would have methadone to treat their heroin addiction. And like in England, not in the area I worked in, another area, notorious for stealing the prescriptions to get this methadone and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was working late in the doctor's surgery at night, and like it was just me and another doctor. But this was not happening. This is in my head when I was telling people. And I knew someone who was doing a similar shift a week ago. And when they were doing their late night shift, someone escaped from a prison, and they were like in the area, and police had to come in and stuff, like a high security prison. So I made it out in front of these people that I was working a shift at night where someone from a high security prison came in and tried to steal the methadone, but threatened me at knife point. And while And while the doctor was seeing the patient, I was pressing the panic button. And no one came on the screen. So then suddenly I did a roundhouse kick and then got the guy down on the floor. And I said I got a scar on my arm. I did the kick in front of all of these bankers in the room, and they were like, whoa. And by this point, I realized I was so far in making up something, so confidently, doing a whole karate performance. And then at the end, I got a standing round of applause. And the thing is that you can't see it now, but I actually have it. It's just a burn mark where I dropped a tray from the oven on my arm. And I literally was lying after that speech to people that I defended myself at knife point. And they were asking loads of questions, but I was dismissing them about the questions.
Oh, my cheeks hurt, Alex. Oh God.
And I think I really manipulated the situation there.
Oh wow. That wasn't even like chauffeur knowledge. That was like chauffeur, I don't know, story. What do you
really bad. And they were like, how did you do this? I couldn't answer them. I couldn't defend myself. But I just dismissed them in this super confident way, like of showmanship with my karate moves.
Oh my God. Oh, oh, my cheeks hurt so much. Oh dear. How?
I don't know even how I dragged it that far. My mind comprehended that's the worst part.
You just kept going with it.
I just really manipulated the situation there.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Sometimes it happens. It happens. I'm not gonna lie. I have a lot of real knowledge in my work, in what I do in life. But I think sometimes I have this. So people look for refer to chauffeur knowledge to look cool.
Mm.
And I think I just manipulate the situation and see what I can play around with and just see how far it can go. It's a funny, and I have this real devious side where sometimes it'll come out. And now my partner can spot it, you're lying, you're lying. But sometimes I just do it without even thinking.
Yeah.
Not to look cool, but just to just for the sake of it. It's quite
just to see how far you can go. Oh, that's so funny. Oh dear.
So apart from me being threatened at knife point by a guy from a high security prison, it's everywhere though, Jazz, though, isn't it? There's teachers, there's journalists, there's businessmen, there's
don't get me started on teachers.
Random person abiding to chauffeur knowledge right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I I don't know if I've ever been as bad as that story, but I mean, I have been in situations where I'm like, the thing is, when I say I think it's still going to count as chauffeur knowledge, because I learn a piece of information and I retain it, and then coincidentally, a couple of weeks later, someone will ask me about it, but I didn't learn more about it, so I just say, yeah, that's a thing, and I can't explain any further. But it's and then there's also instances when it looks like I have chauffeur knowledge, but really no one has knowledge on this, and it's just, for example, algorithms. No one knows anything that's going on with the algorithms. Anyone who says they know is a load of poop. So there's stuff like that as well.
I agree, actually. It's not just with algorithms. People go to me nowadays, the common question is Alex, what's your thoughts on AI? And it's such a mixed bag. I had a relative, family friend recently who's doing some amazing stuff with AI and teaching children, college students about AI and like integrating in their life. But I came out with this contrasting argument, and I know about AI, but I only know up to an extent because
Yeah.
the algorithms are changing, like how search engines view AI, it's constantly changing. And like I think it got to a point where like I could say my opinion but couldn't like go further because I wasn't up to date with the latest information. And it's quite tough
Yeah.
with that.
Not everyone can be Lex Friedman, you know, it's fine.
So how
How do we even like transition from that?
it's actually so funny because I'm just like thinking about like how to spot chauffeur knowledge. And it's like look out for it's like just not do not confuse the company spokesman with the ringmaster. And I was
Oh,
clearly the ringmaster in that talk, that speech. Anyways, don't always look out for chauffeur knowledge. How you recognize it, it's important to know there is a clear indicator. Basically, true experts recognize the limits of what they know and don't know. And if they find themselves outside of their circle of knowledge, they keep quiet or simply say, I don't know, which is what I just said earlier. And then they'll say sorry and they'll be happy to accept it. But chauffeurs do not say, I don't know, or sorry.
yeah. Again, it's that ego that comes into play. It's really fascinating. Absolutely
so next time you see a friend or family member and you think they're like just mumbling something really random, go in hard with the questions.
Yeah.
Because that's going to just give you an idea of their true depth of understanding of the topic. And it's how they address the questions.
Yeah. I just want to add to that because you said that circle of knowledge. I think the actual term is circle of competence.
Yes,
which sounds so rude.
And I was going to go circle of competence, but
the circle of competence. So always evaluate the circle of competence. But for those who don't know, the circle of competence is basically a concept that is associated with the investing giants Warren Buffett and the late Charlie Munger, which refers to the specific areas where an individual possesses a significant level of knowledge and expertise. So real knowledge, like me and Alex with our psychology degrees. I'm always going to bring that up. Understanding and operating within this circle is absolutely crucial for making informed decisions. And those who have chauffeur knowledge can't make these decisions because what they are spouting and what they are saying is actually outside their circle of competence. And I have a bit of a case study, and this is going to be really interesting for you, but you like try not to get too excited. So because we are on LinkedIn a lot, we are both professional women, and LinkedIn is a good place to network. And you see this happening in so many different places. Say that there is this this person who wants to be an entrepreneur. They decide that, much like everyone else on the planet, the easiest thing to do is to start a marketing agency. But they don't know anything about marketing. They just know how, like, they just know that marketing is necessary for businesses to thrive. They know their surface level, but then they see that everyone else is doing like I don't know what you like 360 marketing agency. So they decide to niche down, I think is the correct term, and only do organic marketing. And for those who don't know, organic marketing is like you're posting blog posts, you're posting just regular social media posts on LinkedIn, Instagram, blah, blah, blah. You're not paying to market. So it's nothing like boosting, it's nothing like ads. So it's just that they learn a surface level amount of knowledge to be able to sell their service. But anytime anyone asks for deeper knowledge, they don't, they actually don't have the answer, but they make the other person feel like they're stupid, basically. And again, like, they don't say sorry, I don't know. It's so infuriating to see. But because they don't know, and they know they don't know, they are unable to keep client confidence for very long. So, like, here's the danger of the knowledge, right? The chauffeur knowledge. There's a limit, and then people will start finding out that you're just a chauffeur. So then you decide to pivot your agency into organic and paid, and you still only have the chauffeur knowledge of this entire thing, and you don't actually know what's going on. It will come to a point where people will find out that you don't actually know what you're talking about, you don't actually know what you're selling, and they're going to lose confidence in you. So when you come across people like this, people listening, Alex, you as well, me as well, when we come across people like this who may be the most gorgeous looking person in the world, grade A supermodel, and they're selling you a product, always ask deeper questions. Or even better, so here's another tip to discovering chauffeur knowledge, right? Ask them to explain in simple terms. Apparently this is called the Feynman technique. Feyn with an N, Feynman. And that will always trip them over, because if they can't explain a complex term in simple terms, then they actually don't know what they're talking about. And I used to love doing this when I was studying psychology. I used to always, like, I'll read something, I'll read a piece of paper, I'll read a paper, a research paper, and then I'll try to, like, explain it in simple terms. And this happened recently as well, where I found out that that some people who suffer through like brain trauma or don't have a fully developed frontal lobe will, I don't want to say instinctively, but will somehow inhibit some of our, like, human abilities, right? And will kind of fall back into like instinct and reflexes, which is like mad. I was trying to learn more about it. I learned this yesterday, and I've been trying to, like, explain it in simple terms. So there's the reason why we are the way we are is because of our frontal lobes, and why we are different from, like, basically monkeys, right? Because we don't burst out into anger when someone crosses into our territory. We don't, like, want to punch. I mean, some people do. Some people just get upset and punch them in the face, but maybe they have not a fully developed frontal lobe. We won't know. But there's, like, stuff like, if you've been in a car accident, you had concussion, there's like an imbalance that inhibits the frontal lobe to function properly. And I just find that so, like, so fascinating.
Do you remember Phineas Gage?
Oh, yes.
That...
It's similar to that.
Okay.
But that is like an extreme trauma.
Yeah.
So
that was going through my mind the whole time you mentioned that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The brain is a wonderful thing.
So, and if we had to explain in simple terms how to spot chauffeur knowledge, what would you say?
I think, just as a great rule of thumb is to always ask questions. It's always good to ask questions. Well, even if it's me or Alex talking to you about psychology, like always just ask questions. Ask people to explain concepts in simple terms. Ask them to elaborate. Because if they have real knowledge, Planck knowledge, they will be able to explain things deeper. But if they have Chauffeur knowledge, and this is another thing that you need to pay attention to, they will try and make you feel stupid.
Oh, yeah.
And that is my simple explanation of spotting Chauffeur knowledge.
For sure. I definitely think questions. I think look for body language, how they say their explanation. And I think to handle Chauffeur knowledge, it's just to take everything with a pinch of salt, like what people say. Like, even if you think that person has real knowledge, I'm so skeptical in terms of don't trust people. Basically,
just don't trust
Google,
people. No, yeah.
Fact check. Take everything with a pinch of salt. Even if you think they're telling the truth, do your research after. Don't ever regurgitate or believe face value what people say. I know it's hard, especially if you got like a professor or a doctor, but even doctors can be wrong.
Yes, they can be wrong. And I have a story about this, but probably for another day.
Another day. So ask questions and use more than one source. Go in, fact check, research. Don't depend, I would say, more on written evidence and scientifically supported evidence for a certain topic, and don't take everything for heart what people are saying.
Yeah, don't take everything on face value.
Be like a super cocoa like skeptic walking around your neighborhood like I cannot trust you, I cannot trust this. But like just be aware.
Yeah.
These people
be aware.
Yeah.
Nothing is true. We are all living in the matrix.
What is life? We're all a bunch of atoms.
What a way. And on that note.
On that note, stay tuned for our next episode where I'll be likely riding solo. Jazz will be away gallivanting.
It's either that or I'm recovering from a wisdom tooth surgery. I'll let you know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Or you'll see me with puffy cheeks. We'll see.
So whether you want to see Jazz with puffy cheeks or listen to me waffle on, stay tuned and we'll see you on the next episode.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.